call the meeting to order, and will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call. I guess the secretary note Commissioner Short is absent. Do I have a next item of business is item 4, minutes approval. Everybody have a chance to review the minutes, and if so, I have a motion to approve.
Should approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Agenda item 5, citizen comments. Now's the time for citizens who'd like to address the city council or address the planning commission on any non-agenda item. Are there any speaker cards on this? Okay. Does anybody have anyone from the audience have anything? Okay. Item 6, disclosure of ex parte communications. Anyone have? Okay. And then item 7, old business. There is none. Item 8, new business. The script doesn't match up with the agenda, so let's see. So I'm going to open a public hearing for...
No, there is an item 8.1, the elections.
Oh.
It's not underlined, sorry.
Okay,
I apologize.
Conduct election on the chairman and vice chairman for the upcoming year. Any discussion and nominations for chairman?
I nominate Vice Chairman Ryan Peters for chairman.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, guys. Do I have any nominations for vice chairman? Anybody want to be vice chairman?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Item 8.2. Next item of business is consider continuing the public hearing for Estrella Commons PAD amendment. Katie Wilkin will walk us through this agenda item.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Commission. There was a public hearing noticed for the Estrella Commons PAD amendment, but it has been its request to be continued by the applicant. So we would like to have a motion to continue it to the March 18th, 2015 meeting, and making a motion would preserve the public notice. So we will not be doing a second public notice. It is noticed on our website, and then the continuation would preserve the notice for the March meeting.
Okay. Are there any speaker cards on this item? Okay. And can I have a motion and a second?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue case number 12-200-0001.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 8.3. Next item on the agenda is to consider the text amendment to the Palm Valley 303 planned area development parameters to increase the maximum allowed building height. The public meeting is open.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Commission. And I do just want to make a point that this is a public hearing. We didn't have it on the agenda, but it was noticed properly as a public hearing to property owners and resident and property owners within 500 feet of the proposal. So the map before you shows the Palm Valley 303 area. And the phases in question are Phase 1, which is south of Camelback Road and west of the 303. Phase 2, which is south of Camelback Road and east of the 303. Phase 5, which is south of Indian School Road and west of the 303. And Phase 6, which is just west of that. The text amendment that you received in your packet also showed proposed changes to Phase 3 and 4, but that is not part of this text amendment. It's just for Phases 1, 2, 5, and 6. The request is to increase the proposed building height from 50 feet to 75 feet. 75 feet is allowed in most areas of the Palm Valley 303 area. However, the original PED limited the building height to 50 feet in the area known as the APZ, or Accident Potential Zone 2. However, in discussions with Luke Air Force Base, they have told us that they have no issues with increasing the height to 75 feet. So we're not exactly sure what the original intent of limiting it to 50 feet was, but we have written confirmation from Luke Air Force Base that they're fine with the 75-foot height. The purpose of this is that industrial buildings are changing. You might remember the commissioners who've been on the commission that several months ago we did a height change to the city's industrial zoning district. So this is similar in nature. We're just seeing that these types of industrial buildings need more height to facilitate the type of development we're seeing. This area is separated from residential. The area in question is the middle part. 75 feet is already allowed in some of these areas that get a little closer to the residential. And the area we're talking about is further away from residential, so we don't see any impact to residents, to the neighborhoods. We see this as a positive change to facilitate the type of industrial development we want to see on the Palm Valley 303, which is why we recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of this text amendment change. I'll keep my presentation short and sweet. The applicant is here to answer any specific questions you may have on the application, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have as well.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Commissioner Bray.
The last time we did this, I know for the industrial area, was it 75 as well, or did we move that up to 100? For some reason, 100 is sticking in my mind.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioner Bray. I actually don't know exactly what the height limit went to. I need to grab my zoning ordinance.
I mean, the question being, why wouldn't we just match what we're doing in that area so we wouldn't have to come back?
I apologize for the delay. I have here that we increased it. I mean, it looks to me like we're allowing 50 feet. The date of my zoning ordinance is the correct date, but I don't have the history here. So to answer your question, it appears to me that we increased it to allow 50 feet. So this would allow taller heights, which we do think is appropriate in this area because it's a completely industrial area. Because of the Luke Air Force Base, it can only be industrial type uses with some limited retail uses in the area. So it makes sense to allow more height in this area up to 75 feet.
Thank you.
I assume 75 is what Luke signed off on. They didn't sign off on 100.
Yes, we would, if we increased it more, probably want to check with Luke again to make sure any height increase is okay with them.
Any other questions? Yes.
Katie, I do have a question on 6. It looks like over by Citrus Road there is a housing development over there. Has there been any thought about transitioning from 75 feet as you get closer to that housing development? And also, under that housing development, is there going to be any other residential areas? See what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chairman, Commissioner Maloney. This area is residential. It's the Sedea residential development. And it doesn't look like we do step down height. However, the area that this area here is already permitted to have 75 feet. The change really affects more the eastern part of the parcel.
Oh.
So the area closest to the residential already could have 75 feet.
Oh, really?
So the change we're talking about wouldn't impact the residential area anymore.
I assume that residential area is in the city of Goodyear.
Yes, the Sadea development is in the city of Goodyear.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to speak on this item?
Hello, Mr. Chairman and Commission. My name is Troy Mortensen. I'm with Sunbelt Holdings, also RPPV1, RPPV2, RPPV5, and RPPV6 LLC, 6720 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 250 in Scottsdale. Thank you for your consideration on this text amendment. Kind of the questions that came up. We are looking at the area. There are areas that were discussed that are already currently 75 feet, and we've seen with users that are coming and looking, they're looking for a higher clear height inside their building. This is, a lot of this comes from e-commerce and kind of some of the stacking, some of the automation that is going on in these buildings, and so they're actually looking for a higher clear height. I think the Dick's Sporting Goods building, just for kind of comparison, was at 32 feet clear inside the building, and users we've had lately coming in are looking for 40-foot clear. And so that put us up against kind of the ceiling of that 50-foot need. And so we feel confident that the 75 feet would be what we would need. That's kind of beyond what kind of the current users are asking for. And I'm sure at the time that this was done, I think that 32-foot clear seemed to work as well. But so we're supportive of that and feel that this will enhance. This is what comes out on a lot of the GPAC and a lot of these projects that are looking to locate jobs, and around the valley are looking for that clear height. So, wish for your support on that. If you have any questions.
Are there any questions? All right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Gerald Ellsworth. My address is 4329 East Boulder Ridge in Phoenix. Reason why I'm here, I own a half-acre parcel that's on the northeast corner of the Loop 303 and Indian School Road, and it has been master planned for being a monument, Mr. Chairman. So, and it previously was the highest allowed height building or structure out there in that area. So I know that this package apparently is only going to consider. It does not consider Phase 3, and it's a text amendment, but it appears that in the text, or at least the information I got as far as the package, that there's been some striking of the text in Phase 3. How's that going to be addressed? I mean, it's in the package of being stricken in Phase 3, even though you're not considering it for this vote or this change. Does anyone can reconcile that?
Katie.
Thank you, Chairman and Mr. Ellsworth. The text language does show that, but because we noticed it for Phase 1, 2, 5, and 6, the Commission can only act on those phases. They don't have the ability to approve any changes to Phase 3 or Phase 4 unless we went through this entire process again and noticed it again and sent notice to everybody and posted the property. So when it goes to council, it'll be cleaned up and there won't be Phase 3 and 4 listed in the ordinance. So that was an oversight by staff and created confusion, but since the notice didn't include 3 and 4, it's fine to move forward.
So is it going to be the intention to allow signage? Again, there's a comprehensive sign package that was approved under the PAD. Is there going to be adjustments in the future to allow it to go from 56 feet to 75 feet in those areas where the monuments or signage is going to be?
Thank you, Mr. Ellsworth. We will work with the applicant on if there's proposed changes to Phase 3 and Phase 4 and needs for the comprehensive sign package, we'd be happy to look at that. We'd probably look at what other industrial centers of a similar type do in that instance, what the intent of the comprehensive sign package. Since we're not voting on that tonight, I can't speculate on what we are or not going to do in the future. But we'll take that case if it comes before the staff, and like I said, look at the intent of the general plan, look at the intent of the sign package, and see what makes sense along the 303.
Do you have the letter from Luke Air Force Base that's for public distribution? That gives their support to go from 50 to 75 feet? Because I was curious, because at 56 feet for this monument that's on the northeast corner of Indian School Road and Loop 303 was the highest that Luke Air Force Base would allow at that time in 2007.
Thank you. I'm looking to see if I have it with me right now, and if I do, I'll make a photocopy for you. Otherwise, I'd be happy to email a copy if I give you my card.
Do you have a graphic that may show the APZ2 overlay for this, for the council or everyone to see where there's a split between, let's say, on Phase 3 or even Phase 5 or whatever, that shows where the APZ consideration still would be in effect, or could be in effect if you look at the text revision that was at least contemplated in the information package.
She's got it. So this is, you're correct, this is probably a better graphic to show. So this line right here and right here is the APZ line. And so this everything in here is in the APZ too. So this area here was allowed 75 feet. The areas outside the APZ were allowed 75 feet. And there is some nuanced language in a couple of the phases, so there are a couple of exceptions. But for the most part, areas outside of the APZ were allowed 75 feet, and the areas inside the APZ were allowed 50 feet. And so it's these areas, this strip right in here, which will increase from 50 feet to 75 feet.
As far as this, I know there's a monument that's going to be out here in about this position right here that's going to be at 80 feet that they could erect as far as signage along the freeway. And then at least the property that I own is a triangle right here on the corner that the APZ2 splits right in half. So it's kind of which side of the line would you allow the signage to go to 56 or to 75 or 80? Depends on what Luke may approve. So it's kind of a little bit of a dilemma in what you're proposing.
Well, we would consider any request from any property owner. So as a property owner, I would suggest that if you want to request additional building height, you contact the city and we can discuss it and look at the application for that property line. And then we would do the same thing, discuss with Luke Air Force Base their thoughts and go through the review against our zoning ordinance and the intent of the PAD.
Okay, so again, if it's allowed to go to 75 feet and in those areas, will the 80-foot signs go to 100? Is there any consideration of that?
This does not recommend this at that time, and staff would not recommend making changes at that time because we haven't noticed for anything of that nature with this public hearing. I guess what I would say is that just because a building is allowed to go up to 75 feet doesn't mean an entire area near signage will be all 75 feet, as far as you can see. It just allows the maximum building height to be 75 feet. So as we go through design review for buildings, how it works with the signage is something we would review.
So are you wanting to go to 75 feet on your property at some point?
That's actually what I'm considering, yes, because I think it only makes some sense if all the buildings around are going to go to 75, and this used to be the highest allowed structure out there at 56 feet for the monument. Now it's going to be maybe dwarfed by all the buildings around it. And this is this feature on the northeast corner of Indian School and the Loop 303 was the premier monument structure announcing the whole Palm Valley development. So if it's going to be diminished without being able to be impressive, I guess, by being at least as high as the buildings around it, I think there might be an issue. So,
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ellsworth, I think that, I mean, I don't speak for everybody on this committee, but if you made that request for that area, and with the approval from Luke Air Force Base already, or their blessing at 75 feet, I understand your concern. I don't see why we couldn't raise it to 75.
I'm about to submit a package that will now probably match this with these kinds of considerations to make it maybe larger, at least taller. So.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public would like to speak? And, sir, if you could fill out a speaker comment card and submit it to the committee secretary, we appreciate it. I guess I'm closing the public hearing and opening it up to commission discussion. Any discussion, any comments, concerns? All right, with that, I will take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move case number 15-210-0001.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, staff communications, item number 9.
Thank you. I have one communication, and that is to welcome Liz Grunlock, our new administrative assistant. I hope you've all had a chance to say hello to Liz, and she will be attending meetings and working with us and providing assistance.
Welcome aboard. Thank you. And I'd like to extend congratulations to our new commission members. And I look forward to working with you. And I don't know if you want to take this opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know we haven't got a chance to meet other than a handshake at the beginning of the meeting, but for the sake of the commission,
I'd be happy to share. For the past 6 years, I have worked with the Alfrea School District. I have been a U.S. history teacher and an AP U.S. history teacher at Alfrea High School, which has kept me very busy. I'm also working towards my master's to become an administrator.
My name is Kathleen Maloney. I am a transplant from Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm very grateful that I'm here instead of in Massachusetts. I've been here for 9 years. I live in Pebble Creek, and I worked on the 2025 plan, and I just thought that this would be very interesting. My background is I had a medical billing company and brought it out here, when I moved out here, and have since retired, and I'm actually very glad to be out of medicine these days. It's too crazy. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping that I can be of a help, because I'm a volunteer, and this is very new to me, but I find this very exciting for the city of Goodyear. So that's it.
welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned.